Hi, my name's Richard. I've been playing Irish music since about the mid 1970s. And I had kind of an odd path because I started on uilleann pipes and then, started in Highland pipes, then I transitioned to uilleann pipes, then I transitioned to Irish flute. So playing Irish whistle was pretty far from my mind. And I played Irish flute, a regular wooden transverse Irish flute as my primary instrument for like 35 years. And like what happens with some flute players, eventually the kind of unergonomicness of the flute playing, the transverse flute position, where your neck is twisted a bit and your shoulders are not in alignment and your wrists and hands aren't in alignment. I started getting, neck pain, back pain, wrist pain, hand pain. Well, and it caught up with me. So about 15 years ago, almost 20 years ago, I just sold my flutes, and I just said I can't play flute anymore. And I looked around for low D whistles as a substitute, and I tried a lot of different makers, and I thought the best one was the Goldie Low D. It's just a wonderful instrument. But I missed the stuff you can do on flute, because in flute you have control over the embouchure. You can make the high notes really soft and sweet if you want. You can make the low notes huge and fat and loud and honking if you want to. Whereas this one, all that voicing is built in to the design of up here, the windway and everything. Now, of course, Goldie offers various different windway heights, so you can get a variety of voicings from Colin. And I've got a couple different ones, but nevertheless, whatever you get, that's what you have, is what's built in. So I've always wished that there was a vertical Irish flute I could play, where I could go back to playing flute, but vertical so everything's in line. And there is now. So I've had this for a couple months now. It's made by a guy named Jeffrey Ellis, who is a Irish flute maker, Irish whistle maker. And he also makes a Chinese traditional instrument called zhao. So basically what he did, as far as I understand it, is take the blowhole, which is a round blowhole, exactly like you'd have in a transverse flute, except it's kind of moved kind of to the corner here. And put it there, and then put it on a body which has the finger hole layout of an Irish flute or Irish whistle. And you see that the finger holes are a little bit further apart on the bottom hand, and Jeffrey calls this the Selkie. A little bit further apart. And the tubing is a lot narrower too. So this is, I think, 22 millimeter, which is pretty standard for low D whistles. And this is far narrower than that. It's even a bit narrower, I believe, than here's a Goldie F whistle. And the tubing's fatter too on the Goldie F, low F. And you'd think that with this tubing, now I haven't been able to play this as much as I'd like. So I've never have quite felt like I completely have the thing mastered. But I'm getting closer and closer. I just have not had enough time to spend enough long practice sessions with it, like what you need. But you can get an amazing amount of volume and a strong Irish flute tone out of it if everything's going right. So yeah, you can get that, because that's how I played Irish flute. I was one of those honky players. And as a comparison, on the low D, which I think that probably my phone is going to even out the volumes of these two, but this is a lot louder than the Colin Goldie, which is pretty loud for a low D whistle. But oops, my fingers are used to that one. You can get it pretty honky, but this is just far more so. I don't know if it's coming across, but this is maybe like twice as loud. It feels like it's twice as loud. So anyway, that's all I really had to say on this. I'm just extremely happy. The tuning is pretty much perfect. Like the Colin Goldie has just fantastic. For me, the really test of tuning is going over the break, where you're going from, say, A to B to the cross-fingered C natural to D to E. If you go over that break, and everything's right in tune, you know, I'm a happy camper, you know. Alrighty, so I hope that was of some help to somebody, or at least of some interest to somebody. If you're like me and you just can't play Irish flute anymore, I'd really look into this as kind of being it's basically the answer to my prayers that I've had for, 20 years since I had to give up the flute. And I think this is the ongoing long-term solution for me going forward with my Irish music.